We've all been told cities are messy, loud, concrete jungles built to funnel capital upward, where the people are many, but the power is few. But what if that wasn't inevitable? What if the city itself could be a manifestation of freedom? What if its very design embodied the Enlightenment ideals, liberty, equality, dignity, and the fundamental right to become? What if cities could be beautiful, not just in form, but in function? The city I'm about to walk you through isn't fiction. It's the next logical step for a mature society. It's inspired heavily by the work of Jacques Fresco and the Venus Project, whose vision remains one of the most coherent blueprints for a post-scarcity society. But we've updated it. We've woven in modern technologies Fresco never had access to. Automation far beyond anything he dreamed of in the 21st century. Cybernetic systems that interlink with humanity instead of replacing it. And we've rooted the entire thing in Enlightenment socialism, a worldview that holds, above all, that no one is fit to rule over another. And the purpose of society is to provide the conditions for every person to self-actualize. These are not cities of control. These are cities of liberation. Let me show you how they work. Imagine looking down at the city from above. What you see is a series of concentric rings, like the growth rings of a tree. Each ring exists for a reason. Each one fulfills a need. At the center lies the cybernated facilitation node, the heart of the entire system. It's not a throne, not a capital, not a corporate tower. It's just where the infrastructure lives. The clean energy grids, the data flow management, the logistical processors that handle citywide functions. It doesn't tell people what to do. It doesn't govern. It serves. It manages things like water flow, energy storage, fabrication demands, structural maintenance, and the rhythm of the city's material abundance. And it does all this without demanding obedience, allegiance, or sacrifice. It simply works. Below this, out of sight but never out of mind, lies the underground recycling and waste management grid. Everything in the city is designed for circularity. There is no landfill. There is no pollution. Everything is decomposed and broken down at the molecular level, atomically recycled and fed back into the system. What was once garbage is now a raw material. What was once a burden is now a blessing. Surrounding the facilitation hub is the fabrication ring. Think of it as the lungs of the city, breathing out everything people might need, made on demand, whether it's a new pair of shoes, a replacement for a broken tool, or a handcrafted piece of furniture. It's all produced locally, using renewable materials through automated fabrication centers. But this isn't a one-size-fits-all world. Everyone has access to a simple, intuitive, 3D design studio. Want to build your own custom chair? Your dream kitchen? A unique sculpture for your garden? The system will help you do it, verify safety and functionality, and bring it to life. Then we enter the food production ring. These are not fields of monoculture stretching for miles. These are elegant vertical farms, stacked gardens of fruits, vegetables, herbs, and fungi. Year-round harvests, water-efficient, soil-free, and pest-resistant. Alongside them are cellular agriculture labs, housing DNA samples from local animals, raised with love and care. Their cells are used to print meat and dairy, without harm, without slaughter, and without compromise. It's food sovereignty on a planetary scale. Abundance without cruelty. Next comes the urban life and cultural recreation ring. This is the soul of the city. Walkable neighborhoods filled with sculpture gardens, bakeries, music halls, open-air theaters, and artisan cooperatives. This is where community breathes, where expression thrives, not because it turns a profit, but because it turns strangers into neighbors, neighbors into friends, and friends into a people. And now we arrive at the first residential ring. This is urban living, but not in the way we know it today. These are modular housing towers, beautifully designed and spaced with open greens between them. Your home is 3D printed, tailored to your needs and fully mobile. Want to relocate to a different tower? Done. Want to redesign your space? The system helps you do it. This is vertical living without the alienation. It's apartment life, reimagined as community-centered, autonomy-preserving, and rooted in dignity. After that, we find the city nature ring. This is a belt of forest, meadow, and water. It runs like a green artery through the city's structure, creating space for natural regeneration. It filters air, sustains bees and birds, and brings peace. Harmless animals roam freely. Predators are excluded using humane, non-invasive barriers. Populations are managed by automated migration systems, never by culling. Past that, the learning and healing ring, education and healthcare. Not as profit centers, but as birthrights. Here, you'll find schools designed around curiosity and play, clinics that offer preventative care, mental health support, and experimental treatments, freely, without charge. There are no insurance cards, no test scores determining your future. Only people helping people grow into the best version of themselves. Then we move into the second recreation ring, more open than the first, more wild. Sports fields, gardens, trails, fire pits, and community amphitheaters. It's all walkable, all joyful, all designed to make life worth living. Now we reach the suburban residential ring. These are classic neighborhood-style homes, designed by the people who live in them, each plot unique, each home crafted with care. No rent, no landlords, just land, a home, and community. Streets are tree-lined and built for walking, not cars. And then we arrive at the in-city, rural residential rings. These are for the folks who want a bit more space, a full acre, maybe 5. These aren't off-grid, they're just quieter. You can keep goats, grow an orchard, or simply exist, still tied into the network, still nourished by the system, still a full citizen in every way. It's rural life, but with all the benefits of civilization close at hand. Finally, beyond the last rural belt, you'll find the city's outermost layers, nature belts and rewilded spaces, alternating rings of forest, wetland, and meadow, not as a buffer zone, but as a healing wound. These spaces are not conquered, they are invited, guided by restoration science and ecological stewardship. The city ends not with a wall, but with open fields, meadows, and forests. Everything beyond it belongs to the earth again. And the city itself, fully self-sufficient, decentralized down to the individual, federated with every other city in a planetary mesh of liberation. You can live in one city your whole life, or move between them freely. Your identity is yours, secure, biometric, integrated. Governance happens through civic participation, not bureaucracy. You vote through your interface. Proposals flow through local consensus before ever reaching global integration. And no one, not a leader, not a council, not a majority, can ever deny you the basics, because the system has been designed from its root to enforce the primacy of life and the sovereignty of the self. You can be whoever you want, so long as you do no harm, so long as you exploit no one, so long as you do not oppress. And with those principles locked into the infrastructure itself, hard-coded into every node, every interface, every distribution center. The state becomes obsolete. Why rule people when you can serve them? Why govern scarcity when we've built abundance? This is not utopia. It's just what happens when we stop building for capital and start building for care. It's what happens when liberty becomes infrastructure. We're not talking about the end of history. We're talking about the beginning of freedom. Not as a slogan, but as a lived, embodied reality for everyone.